Originally, Kenny had about 30 verses, not 30, but a lot. And I think he wanted more verses, but I think that's part of this song's charm, was it cut it down to a couple of verses.
So Greg said that there are many more verses to this song than just
Really?
the ones. Yes, and I was going to ask you if you were aware of that.
I did not know that.
Do you know those verses?
I may have heard him do one of those verses live, and it kind of threw me off, thinking back, because I was like, where is this coming? I thought he made it up on the spot, but that's interesting to know.
There weren't many verses to that song. Bless his heart. It's not like the Bernie Taupin lost files. It's not like they found, 3 more recordings that didn't make the White Album. I think there was maybe 4 verses on there. And he pared it down to 2, I believe. And it fit nicely into like a 3-minute slot on the record.
I might be wrong, but sometime Sunday morning, I stumble from my bed, afraid of what the mirror might say to me.
But it was fun. I mean, we wrote it in probably, I don't know, half hour, maybe. It doesn't, it's been a long time, but it wasn't, let's say, I think an effort that was, where we worked days on or weeks on. It was a pretty quick turn.
With memories of you so strong, a classic case of love gone wrong, but maybe someday, well, I'll get it right.
And it was basically a guy was telling me a story about how his girlfriend had left him, his fiance actually had left him, and he was so sad and distraught and just lamenting about all the things that coulda, shoulda, woulda been and all that. And I said, what happened? She's with some guy somewhere out there. I said, she's still in Kentucky? He said, yeah. And I went, voila.
Sometime Sunday morning, I stumble from my bed, afraid of what the mirror might say to me. With the memories of you so strong, a classic case of love gone wrong, but maybe someday, well, I'll get it right.
Yeah, just kind of like the basis of Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, that epiphany. I said, yeah, somewhere in Kentucky, and that's how it happened.
And so after that, once he started playing at Honoree Clay's, he brought me a couple records. I got to know some of his songs and would play them with him on stage. He brought me a couple of his old vinyl records. And so Somewhere in Kentucky was the first one that stuck out on that, and listened to it hundreds of times on my record player.
And what drew you to that song?
I'm a huge ballad fan, and especially like a power ballad. And I've always loved the melancholy songs. I don't know what the draw. I'm a happy person. People always think I'm real sad, but I love melancholy kind of music. And so when that song came on, I just think it's a beautifully arranged song, and the lyrics it just paints a perfect picture. And so for a country song, or just a storyteller song, I think it's just an awesome piece of music.
Sometime Sunday morning, I stumbled from my bed, afraid of what the mirror might say to me.
So why do you think people connected with the song and loved it so much?
I think the biggest reason is it's done well around here and still is kind of endearing to people is it's got Kentucky in it. Hey, go Cats. It's got Kentucky in the title, and it's in the verses and choruses and everything else. And then too, I think it's very easy to relate to. It's that kind of love gone wrong, lost love, wonder where she is now, wish I had her back. It's a pretty simple tale. It's your classic country story. And I think that's probably why. It's pretty simple, easy to understand the words, easy to understand the meaning. And it fits 3 minutes, Easy to dance to, as they used to say way back in the day. You can waltz with your girlfriend to this song, and I think that's probably why it's made it so long. To be honest, that's kind of nice. People still come up and say, hey, that song you and Greg wrote, I still hear it. But the truth is, we wanted to make money on the song. We weren't trying to become like local legends with this song. Back in the 80s when we wrote it, the hope was that some big country star, because we thought it was a pretty good song, would record it and put it on their album. Maybe if we got lucky, it would be released as a single and crack the top 40, but at least get on a big album where we'd get some royalties. You know, we wanted to make money. This was a financial endeavor, and like everyone that's probably ever written a song, we had hopes that, you know, there'd be some cash coming in. As it was, I think we made maybe a couple $100 on BMI checks, because we got local play in Lexington and some up in the eastern Kentucky area where I'm from. But, you know, so, I mean, it's kind of nice people remember it, but, you know, down deep, I hope Chris Stapleton's watching this, or Dwight Yoakam, you know, and they decided to throw it on their album. That would bring somewhere in Kentucky together, wouldn't it, 30 years after the fact.
You're still holding out just a little bit.
Yeah, we're still holding out. Thankfully, I had a day job. You know, I never quit the day job because I knew I was not going to become the next great lyricist.
Maybe someday, well, I'll get it right. Somewhere in Kentucky, there's a man who's feeling lucky, sleeping with a woman that once was mine. Somewhere two lovers lie together side by side in a place that once was mine. Boy, it's early. That's awful early, Miss Collins.